You owe it to you. Not to your parents, not to your boss, not to the system, not to society, but to you. You wake up every morning and you look into the mirror, and the person staring back at you, that's the one you're responsible for. That's the one who suffers when you quit. That's the one who wins when you keep going. 2025 isn't going to hand you anything. It's not going to wait for you to feel ready, to feel motivated, to feel safe. It's going to come at you full speed, unforgiving, unfiltered, and absolutely unconcerned with your excuses. Life doesn't slow down, and neither should you. You've got one shot at this day, this moment, and the decisions you make right now are the bricks you're laying for the house you're going to live in tomorrow. No one is going to build it for you. Not your friends, not your family, and sure as hell not your enemies. That voice in your head telling you you're not enough. You owe it to yourself to shut it down. That fear telling you to stay comfortable. You owe it to yourself to face it. That weakness trying to seduce you into mediocrity. You owe it to yourself to destroy it. You don't need perfect conditions to start. You don't need permission. You don't need applause. You need commitment. Ruthless, consistent, hardcore commitment. Commitment to the grind, to the discipline, to the uncomfortable path that leads to greatness. Nobody cares if it's hard. It's supposed to be hard. That's what makes it worth it. If success were easy, everyone would have it. If discipline were natural, everyone would be built like a warrior. But they're not, and that's your edge, that's your opportunity, that's your battlefield. In 2025, the world is moving fast, distractions are louder, comforts are cheaper, and attention is the new currency. And most people are broke. You owe it to you to not be one of them. You owe it to you to shut out the noise, to reclaim your time, to dominate your mornings before the world even wakes up. The SEALs taught me something that I carry into every fight: no plan survives first contact. Life will hit you hard, you will fail, you will fall, you will break, but you don't stay down. That's the difference. You owe it to you to get back up every damn time. Nobody's coming to save you. No cavalry, no miracles, no shortcut, no cheat code. It's just you, your grit, your mindset, and your mission. So suit up, lace your boots, tighten your core, and stop living like you've got time to waste. You don't. You owe it to yourself to show up for you even when no one's watching. You owe it to the younger version of you who believed you could be more. You owe it to the older version of you who's going to look back at 2025 and either smile with pride or shake their head with regret. Which one will it be? It depends on what you do now, in this very second. Every small choice is a vote for the person you want to become. And every excuse is a vote against it. So stop negotiating with your limitations. Stop waiting to feel like it. Stop hoping someone else will pull you out of the hole you're in. Climb, crawl, bleed if you have to. But move, because motion is life. Discipline is freedom. Suffering now is strength later. There is no growth without discomfort. There is no victory without pain. Stop running from the fire and start running into it. That's where your new life lives. Inside adversity, inside pressure, inside silence when it's just you and the echo of your doubt. You owe it to you to not waste this season. You owe it to you to become unrecognizable to the version of yourself that used to settle, to complain, to blame others. Let that person die, and be reborn in grit, in fire, in pure relentless focus. SEALs don't wait for comfort. We train for war in peace so that when war comes, we don't flinch. That's how you've got to live now. You train for life's battle in the quiet, in the dark, before dawn, when no one's clapping, and that's where the winners are forged. Not on the stage, in the shadows. You owe it to you to own your mornings, to reclaim your focus, to build your body and mind like it's your duty, because it is. You think you'll get a second chance at this year? You won't. 2025 is a ticking clock. It's either going to be your breakthrough or your breakdown. And you choose that, with your actions, with your habits, with the way you respond when everything goes wrong. Most people quit when it gets hard. You double down. You go deeper. You embrace the suck, because you've learned that pain is just a sign that you're alive. That fear is just the border of your next level. And that comfort is the silent killer of potential. You owe it to you to never be the same after this year. To look back and know that you faced everything you once ran from. To know that when others were distracted, you were locked in. When others slept in, you were grinding. When others gave up, you kept going. That's the mark of a warrior. That's the legacy of a fighter. That's the standard of someone who doesn't just survive, they conquer. You were born with everything you need to win. You just forgot. The world made you soft, polite, compliant, and tired. It told you to take it easy, to be realistic, to lower your expectations. Forget that noise. You weren't built for average. You weren't born to blend in. You were meant to rise. To stand up when life knocks you down. To keep walking when your legs beg you to stop. To roar when your voice has gone hoarse. And to shine even when the world turns dark. You owe it to you to prove to yourself that you've got more inside. More power, more discipline, more focus, more purpose. And if you don't feel it right now, that's not a problem. You don't need to feel like it. You just need to start. The feelings will follow the action. The fire will come with the fuel. So move, sweat, wake up, show up, put in the work that no one claps for. Because every day that you delay is a day you betray yourself. Every day you postpone your greatness, you make mediocrity more comfortable. And mediocrity is a slow death. Don't let the world dull your edge. Don't let your past define your future. And don't let your doubts kill your dreams. You owe it to you to go to war with the parts of you that keep holding you back. To silence the voices that say, maybe later, and replace them with, right now. 2025 is not going to wait for you to feel ready. It's already moving, and if you're not moving with it, you're getting left behind. No more waiting, no more weakness, no more excuses. This is your time, this is your battle, this is your proving ground. Get up, get disciplined, get focused, and get it done, because no one else is going to do it for you. And deep down, you know that. So rise, push, bleed, sweat, fight, fail, fall, but don't you dare quit. Because if you do, you won't just let the world down, you'll let yourself down. And that's the one person you can't afford to lose. You owe it to you to stop negotiating with mediocrity. You owe it to you to stop living in the gray zone of, maybe, someday, and, I'm trying. Trying is not doing. Hoping is not working. Dreaming is not building. You can stare at a map all day, but if you don't take one damn step, you're not going anywhere. So take the step, take the hit, take the pain, but take the responsibility, because every single excuse you make is a chain around your potential. And you weren't born for chains. You were born for war. For pressure. For struggle. That's what forges warriors. That's what separates the driven from the defeated. The uncommon from the ordinary. You think life is hard? Good. That means you're doing something real. You think people don't support you? Perfect. Learn to support yourself. Build your own fire. Become your own weapon. The Navy didn't teach us how to be comfortable. They taught us how to perform when everything hurts, when your lungs burn, your legs collapse, and your mind begs for mercy. And in that hell, you find something sacred, clarity. Clarity that no one owes you anything. That everything you want demands a version of you you haven't become yet. And if you're too soft to suffer for that version, then you don't deserve it. This isn't personal. This is war. The war between who you are and who you could be. And every day you waste is a day the weaker you wins. Not on my watch. And not on yours if you've got the guts to rise. Look around you. The world's soft. People complain when Wi-Fi is slow. They cry when someone disagrees with them. They live for likes and lose their identity in the process. But you're done with that. You're unplugging from the circus. You're reclaiming your mind. You're fighting for your soul. Because this is your life, not a simulation. And every second counts. You owe it to you to build a mindset so ruthless, so focused, so unbreakable, that even your doubts give up trying to stop you. Do you know what happens when you operate like that? You become dangerous. Not violent, not reckless, but dangerous in your discipline, in your control, in your refusal to break under pressure. That's power. And power comes from struggle. It comes from choosing discomfort every single day until it becomes your comfort zone. You don't run from the cold, you train in it. You don't avoid the hard conversation, you initiate it. You don't delay your workout because you're tired, you train tired. You lead yourself when no one is looking. Because you owe it to you to be the kind of person your enemies fear and your younger self would admire. You want peace, earn it in the war. You want rest, earn it in the grind. Nothing is free, not in this life, not in this year, especially not in 2025. You either pay the price now in effort, sacrifice, and discipline, or you pay later in regret, mediocrity, and shame. But either way, you pay. So choose wisely. Choose sweat over sorrow. Choose effort over ego. Choose growth over comfort. Choose now over later. Because later is a lie. The world is filled with people who said, "I'll start tomorrow," and now they're bitter, broke, and broken. Not you. Not this time. You're not making resolutions, you're making results. And results don't care how you feel. They care what you do. So do it. Get up before the alarm. Train when it rains. Work when no one claps. Push when it hurts. Grow when it's hard. That's the price. That's the standard. That's the cost of self-respect. Because when you do hard things daily, you build evidence. Evidence that you can rely on yourself. That you don't need motivation, you've got momentum. And momentum is a beast. It carries you through doubt, fear, fatigue, and failure. It lifts you when your will collapses. And it only comes from consistency. The kind of consistency that ordinary people hate, because it's boring, painful, and invisible. But you don't want ordinary. You want unstoppable. You want results that scream before you even speak. A presence that says, "I've been through hell, and I didn't flinch." You owe it to you to earn that. Every day, every representative, every decision. You don't rise by wishing. You rise by grinding. By embracing the pain of self-discipline so you don't have to suffer the pain of regret. You rise by letting go of your excuses, no matter how valid they sound. You rise by taking ownership of everything, your mindset, your actions, your outcomes. No one else is responsible for you. Not your boss, not your parents, not your genetics, not your past. You are. And when you take that kind of ownership, you stop asking life to be easier. You get stronger. You get sharper. You get dangerous. Because you realize that the obstacle is the way. That fear is a compass. That resistance is a gift. The things you avoid are the very things that will set you free. So stop avoiding. Start attacking. Not recklessly, but relentlessly. Focused, disciplined, aggressive action toward what matters. Toward what scares you. Toward what demands all of you. Because that's where your freedom is hiding. In the fight, in the fire, in the discipline of showing up, even when your feelings say no. Especially when they say no. You owe it to you to conquer those feelings. To prove to yourself, every damn day, that you're not ruled by emotion, you are ruled by mission. The mission to become the kind of person who doesn't need external permission to win. Who doesn't wait for motivation to move. Who doesn't flinch when life hits hard. That's a Navy SEAL mindset. That's what made us different. Not the gear, not the uniform, the mindset, the inner code that said, "I will not quit. I will not break. I will not settle." And that mindset isn't reserved for warriors. It's for anyone willing to suffer for what they want. Anyone willing to stop blaming and start building. Anyone who refuses to live a life of almost. Of excuses. Of comfort. That includes you. If you're breathing, you've got fight in you. Don't let it rot. Don't let it waste. Don't let this year pass without becoming the savage you were always meant to be. And I'm not talking about being cold or cruel, I'm talking about being disciplined, clear, focused, and driven. That's the new savage, not chaos, control, not rage, resolve, not hype, hunger. You owe it to you to let that version rise. The one buried under fear, laziness, and distractions. Burn those layers off, and rise.